The price of Ethereum has gone down from about $1,400, an all-time high, to now under $800. Everyone's probably freaking out, so I want to do an update on my thoughts on Ethereum. Let's get right into it. Ethereum has had, a pretty insane price chart, just an epic rise throughout 2017, but now in early 2018, for about the past month, we have seen Ethereum pull back pretty dramatically. But it's very important to keep in context how much of a move this had already. If you look at the price from January 17 to now, we're still up almost 100x in just about 14 months. So even though Ethereum has pulled back pretty substantially, you really got to keep in context how big the move was in 2017. In the last video I made about Ethereum, we talked about how their transactions per day was one of the most important metrics I was watching. And when we made that episode, Ethereum had just crossed 1 million transactions per day milestone. The chart was on this astronomical tear. They were up from 40,000 transactions per day in January 2017, a 25x increase in network scale in just about a year. And so, I was getting so hyped about this, and now what has happened since? Take a look at this. The Ethereum transactions per day chart has been in a downtrend. The crossing 1 million per day was basically the peak, and ever since then, it has been pulling back. And everyone's like, oh my God, what happened? Is traction declining? Well, this is actually something I've been grappling with as well. We have gone from 1.3 million transactions per day at the peak to about 700,000 transactions per day now. But like the price, I think it's very important to remember that the transactions in the Ethereum network are still up 18x from January 2017, going from 40,000 a day to about 700,000 a day. Even in just the past 14 months, we have still grown dramatically despite this pullback. This is sort of a new chart that I want to introduce to you guys, which I've been studying up, which is the Ethereum gas used price. And this may be now an even more important metric than transactions per day, although I think they both have a lot of weight, because it actually measures not just the transactions, but the complexity of the transactions gauged by how much gas, or basically network fees, you're paying to the Ethereum network. For the more complex transaction, you pay more fees. Here's the chart of the Ethereum gas used per day. And as you can see, it is up dramatically, up about 32x from 1.2 million per day to about 38 million a day from January 17 until today. But just like the transactions per day, it peaked in late 2017 and has been in a slight downtrend, going from about 43 million gas used per day to about 38 million, down about 12%. But what's so interesting about this is that 12%, sure, that's a pullback, but remember this transactions per day went from 1.3 million to 700,000, down 46%. So my conclusion here, what is really fascinating about the Ethereum network is that the amount of gas used per transaction appears to be rising consistently. And I think this is a really good sign because it means more complex transactions are occurring on the Ethereum network. And if you think about what one of the simplest transactions probably was in the network, was simply buying into Ethereum and holding it as an investment. And this is what a lot of speculators, traders, and investors were doing in late 2017 on this massive price run. So I think we're getting a lot less of these speculation traders, and we're actually seeing the Ethereum network be used for applications, and that's why the gas used is rising on a per transaction basis. I think this is just a sign of the Ethereum network growing up. Whether it's a stock, whether it's a crypto asset, whether it's any sort of thing, is never going to go up in a straight line. Pullback we're actually seeing in Ethereum is pretty healthy. So now it's all about what is going to be built on top of Ethereum and whether that will gain traction. One of the websites I've been checking almost every day, shout out to our Hyperchange crypto asset advisor, Alex Sankov, for showing me this, DApp Radar, which is an excellent resource which shows the amount of dApps on the Ethereum network that are being utilized, how much Ethereum is running on these different dApps. It's basically a way to gauge the biggest apps on the Ethereum App Store. As I'm checking it right now, the leading dApps are IDEX and Fork Delta and CryptoKitties. IDEX and Fork Delta are exchanges where you can buy different crypto assets built on top of the Ethereum network. CryptoKitties, of course, you guys know CryptoKitties, where you can buy, sell, breed those collectible little cute cats. These are the top dApps on the Ethereum network, and the number I'm looking at is actually the volume in the past 24 hours. What this indicates is how much Ethereum has been traded or used within these dApps in the past day. And as you can see, IDEX has used about 7,500, Fork Delta is about 2,300, Ether Roll over 1,000, and so 1,000 ETH per day, to put things in perspective, is almost $1 million or about $700,000 transacted per day on some of these dApps on the Ethereum network. Network value of Ethereum as a whole is about 75 billion. So to see a couple million being transacted on these apps isn't a huge deal, but I think this is really promising traction, and I'm going to be watching DApp Radar very closely to see how this evolves and which dApps take off. In conclusion, we have had some healthy consolidation consolidation in the Ethereum network. The price has gone down, transactions per day are going down from their peak, gas used is going down from its peak. What am I looking for next? I'm hoping that transactions per day start to reverse, go back over 1 million. I'm hoping that gas used per day goes back and reverses to start an upward trend again, and we see new record highs with that. So that is what I will be watching very closely. Ethereum remains my biggest crypto asset position. I have moved a little bit of my Ethereum into different tokens and crypto assets on the Ethereum blockchain, so still in that universe, but Ethereum as a whole is still by far my biggest crypto asset investment. I'm incredibly bullish on the project long-term, on what Vitalik Buterin is doing, so I will continue to document and follow Ethereum here on Hyperchange. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What other metrics should I be watching to gauge how fast Ethereum is growing? What are you guys looking at? Let me know. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.